Hi there, it's your girl Z from TransVoiceLessons.com, and in this video we're going to listen to the evolution of my voice from masculine to feminine. It happened over the course of about 5.5 years, and I've got all of it well documented with audio files. So we're going to start from about 5 years ago, and we're going to listen forward to now. Now, a bit of backstory about me. I started playing music in 2004. I got super into music around like 2006, 2008. I was studying a lot of music composition and sound design, and I started getting into music theory at that time. Acoustics was like absolutely fascinating and riveting to me, so I was focusing a lot of my attention on music and acoustics. I ended up entering university and studying music composition in 2010. I graduated in 2015, and that is when I began my transition and I started changing my voice. Alright, so the first one that we're going to listen to is from March 25th, 2015. This is completely my dead voice. There is no alteration to this. I hadn't even begun practicing voice. I wasn't even out yet. I wasn't even out to myself. So let's go ahead and take a listen to that.
Greetings and welcome to my favorite sound of the day with me. Today we have my own trumpet playing with valve tremolos and lots of delay and reverb.
With valve tremolo. I can't even do that anymore. Oh, that's so gross. I can't believe I ever sounded like that. Listen to that. That's like so... I have another one here. Listen.
Today we have my Yamaha acoustic guitar bowed with a bass bow. The guitar is tuned to an open D minor 7 add 6 tuning, or DAD FBC.
That to me is absolutely crazy. If I try to sound like that now,
the guitar is tuned in D.
I can't even come anywhere near that amount of vocal fold mass. I don't know how I ever did that to begin with.
Today we have my Yamaha acoustic guitar bowed with a bass bow. The guitar itself is tuned to an open D minor 7 add 6 tuning, or DAD FBC.
That's about as masculine as I could really ever sound. So there's my starting place, okay? 2 months after that, I came out, and that finally gave me the environment to start practicing my voice more realistically. So this is my first attempt at a feminine voice, okay? So this is from May 25th, 2015, and this was about a week after I originally came out. So let's take a listen.
I've been playing a lot of Stella by Starlight lately. I've been practicing vocal stuff like really high, like all the way up to D5 up to G6.
That's not that high.
I'm just going to read a little. Philip Glass, American composer, studied at Peabody Conservatory. Vocal stuff like...
Okay, right away, I'm doing this thing. This is a thing a lot of beginners do. They hear that the voice needs to be thinner, and so what they try and do is they over-abduct. They don't quite make enough vocal fold contact, and then as they're over-abducting, they actually bring their false folds in. So you end up with this kind of like... you end up with that kind of sound. So I was doing that my first
really
attempt.
High, like all the way up to... D5 up at the age of 8.
At the age of 8.
There's so much false fold constriction. There's like so little closure. Oh my god, and the resonance is like not even moved. The first clips that we listened to were 2 months before that. This was my real first attempt. Now this next voice is from July 30th, 2015.
Classical thinkers employed classification as a way to define and assess the quality of poetry.
Poetry.
Once again, way too much abduction. I'm barely adducting the vocal folds at all. Too little contact. Now this one, my pitch went up a lot, right? So we can see I started bringing pitch into the equation, but I still didn't quite find the right way to do thinness with my voice. I still sounded a little too airy, a little too grainy.
Namely, the existing fragments of Aristotle's Poetics.
And my R1 is super low.
Quality of poetry.
That's like a classic low R1 trying to sound thin sound.
The quality of poetry.
If I change the R1, the quality of poetry, right? So it's a lot different if I fix it. So very interesting stuff there. You know, listening back to these recordings, I really do think a lot of the beginners watching my videos can learn a lot from these. These are common beginner mistakes that I made and that everybody makes. We want to make sure that we have good closure with our vocal folds. We want to make sure that we don't have false fold constriction, and we want to make sure that our resonance is up, okay? Now around this time, July 30th, 2015, I was getting ready to start touring a lot with my band. We were about to go on the road for 3 months that winter, so we started practicing. My band picked up, and we started doing a lot of that stuff. In that time frame there, I kind of gave up on voice. I didn't really give up, but I just didn't know where to go, right? So there's actually a really big jump from the last file to this next one. So we jump forward about 10 months or so. In that time, I'd sort of worked further on my transition. I still did not have hormones yet. I had toured and did a lot of different music stuff at that time, and I was working a lot on my voice sort of leading up to this point. So this is about a year worth of practice from the last audio file. Let's see what I managed to accomplish.
Background information. 2. Constructions and significant sonorities. 3.
Basically nothing. Okay, so if there's people out there listening and watching my videos and they're, oh, I'll never achieve this, this is impossible, I've been practicing for la la la. No, it's totally achievable. Now you have audio proof of me literally not progressing for a whole year, okay? Like this file in particular to me is
and other fascinating.
Yeah, so I didn't progress at all. This is basically the exact same quality that I had a year prior to that. So at this point, we are over a year into the process and my voice has barely changed. Okay, now this next audio file is just a month after the previous one I played. We'll see if there was any month-to-month change. So this was June 3rd, 2016.
This video will talk about the Lydian mode. It's organized into 3 primary parts.
Oh my
1.
God.
Background. 2.
1. Background. 2.
False fulls, too much abduction once again. The pitch is up, the resonance is dark.
Construction. And 3. Application. Lydian is an incredibly versatile formation that pops up in
I was making music theory videos at the time on YouTube. Basically doing what I do now, but like about music theory.
all types of music, Western and non. It's one of the 7
It's one of the 7. There's so much. Oh my gosh. So try to avoid the mistakes that I made, okay? Now let's move on to the next one. So this next audio file is super interesting. This is where the majority of my progress was made. So
This video will talk about the Lydian mode. It's organized into 3 primary parts. This video will talk about the Lydian mode. It's organized into 3 primary parts. 1. Background. 2. Construction. And 3. Application. 1. Background. 2. Construction. 3. Application. Lydian is an incredibly versatile formation that pops up in all types of music, Western and non. Lydian is an incredibly versatile formation that pops up in all types of music, Western and non-Western.
So you can hear that's like huge progress, right? That was an 8-month time. That's where the majority of what I learned got done. At that point in time, I was just like grinding, you know, I was like nonstop practicing my voice pretty religiously. I was basically sitting around playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive, practicing my voice like 8 to 12 hours a day. I managed to get it to pass on Overwatch one night, and then that basically inspired me to nonstop practice my voice religiously. Now that was basically me figuring out R1. I finally like quit trying to follow like online guides, and I just started thinking about sound and how basically our voice is a filter. And so I was like, wait a second. Can't I just do impulse measuring of that filter? And I started playing around with white noise a lot, and that helped me tremendously. This next audio file is from the video that I released that kind of initially blew up. It's kind of what put me on the map for a lot of people. It's called Female Voice in 2 Minutes, and this is from September 1st, 2017. I had moved away from home. I had been living in Seattle for about 5 months, and I just put this up on YouTube.
I'm Ziana from TransVoiceLessons.com, and in this video, I want to show you how I turned
this voice?
into this voice, okay? Took me 2 years, but I'm going to tell you in 1 minute. If you do all these things, you'll be able to yell!
Not bad. Now that's a little bit more feminine than what I like. It's a little bit more squirrely and chipmunky, but that's definitely evolution from where I was in about 8 or 9 months earlier in February, right? So we can see this progression where there was about a year where I stalled out, nothing happened, and then another couple months, nothing happened, and then in that big chunk of time, I managed to figure out my resonance, and then I grinded that, and then I managed to get there a few months after, about 8 months after.
You'll be able to cough.
And they figured out how to cough and how to yell and all that stuff, you know?
We're changing the instrument, not our behavior, okay?
Well, I disagree with that statement. We're changing the instrument through behavior. I don't like how much I spread my lips during the sound. I don't like how it sounds. There's like too much of a global, the low pass has opened up too much basically. There's a few other things too, a little shrill with my glottal behavior and so forth, but cool, not a bad place. I was already teaching trans voice like full time at this point and everything. So this is a year of teaching students, a year of practice, a year of continuing my explorations of the topic.
When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act as a prism and form a rainbow. The rainbow is a division of white light into many beautiful colors. These take the shape of a long round.
So right away, this is leagues better than any of the ones before. Of course, it's about a year of me teaching this stuff. So I was getting a lot better at it through like education and working with different people on this topic and everything. I'm really
arch, which is with its path high up.
I don't really have too many criticisms about this. I think that from where I am now, I've polished up a lot. If anything, I've gotten a little bit darker with my voice because, you know, I get a lot of criticisms because I overshoot and I go too feminine with my voice, but that's just because I had such bad vocal dysphoria.
Above and its two ends apparently beyond the horizon. There is, according to...
It's interesting how active my R2 is in this audio file. Compared to now, the R2 is way more active in these files. It's like I can hear the effort that I was just trying to keep things together, right?
Boiling pot of gold at one end.
Boiling pot of gold at one end. It's kind of like that more or whatever. I don't know. It's interesting.
People look, but no one ever finds it. When a man looks for something beyond his reach,
not bad, pretty passable. I don't like some of the glottal behavior. Some of the resonance could be better in terms of the activity. It sounds too active and too intentional. So that's kind of my criticisms for that one. But at that point, you know, I was starting to do stuff with voice and I was feeling pretty good about things. So now let's take a listen to this. This is from July 6, 2019. I just had facial feminization surgery. My lips barely were able to move, but I made this video. Let's take a listen.
And then we'll start to wrap up, okay? I strongly recommend watching the previous Art of Voice Feminization video if you haven't. It will be a very important primer to this process. And so, yes, without further ado,
yes! Okay, so, few things about that. It just sounds like I'm trying to be too feminine with my voice, you know? And I was still vocally dysphoric at that point, even though I had been teaching trans voice for 2.5 years, you know? Dysphoria is not rational. All right, so let's listen to another audio from around that same time. This is not from like one of my like bigger videos. This is from a live stream, so it's kind of more off the cuff speech.
music lately. Teaching a lot. I'm teaching anywhere between 4 to 5 students every day.
Still do.
Except for
6
today,
sometimes.
I had music lessons today.
Oh,
so
that's fun.
I had a nice day of talking about music with people. We were talking about ear training and how to develop like an intuitive connection to sound, which is really important when it comes to composition. So
yeah, so at this point, you know, I like how my voice sounds there. I don't really have any problems with it. I feel like I've optimized it way more. I feel like I sound way better, especially if you compare like that audio to my newer videos or my newer live streams or whatever. So I'm still changing my voice and I'm always trying to improve it. At this point in time though, I'm really happy to say that I do not have very much vocal dysphoria. And it's one of the coolest things ever because I wasn't sure I would ever be able to get there. There you have it. There is 5 years of vocal evolution in this short video. It has been an unbelievably crazy journey so far, but I'm honestly so thankful to be where I am now and to be able to sing in feminine and to be comfortable with my voice. If there is anything that I hope you take away from this video, it's that you are not alone in this process, okay? It can be really difficult. It can be challenging. We can learn a lot about ourselves in the process. It can also be really fun, and it can also be very freeing and liberating. We are literally taking control of our bodies through our own actions and feminizing ourselves and taking complete control over our identity.
Greetings and welcome to my favorite sound of the day with me. Today we have my own trumpet playing with valve tremolos and lots of delay and reverb.
Philip Glass, American composer, studied at Peabody Conservatory at the age of 8. Working on a film in Paris with Ravi Shankar awakened interest in non-Western music. Classical thinkers employed classification as a way to define and assess the quality of poetry, namely, the existing fragments of Aristotle's Poetics. 2. Constructions and significant sonorities. 3. Application and other fascinating things. Lydian is an incredibly flexible... It's organized into 3 primary parts. 1. Background. 2. Construction. And 3. Application.
This video will talk about the Lydian mode. It's organized into 3 primary parts.
Hi, I'm Ziana from TransVoiceLessons.com, and in this video, I want to show you how I turned...
These take the shape of a long round arch, which is with its path high above and its two ends apparently beyond the horizon.
So thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please post them below. You know I'm active in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it helpful. Check out my Patreon if you would like to support my work. I'll put the link down below in the description. If you would like to work with me in voice lessons, please email transvoicelessons@gmail.com and you'll be added to our pool. And of course, if you would like to listen or support my music, you can check out my Bandcamp or my other YouTube channel where I release my music. Otherwise, thank you all so much for listening and being here and creating such an awesome community. And until next time, bye.